Hi, so this video is going to help you with your Manage Risk assignment. There's a lot of stuff at the start about the scenario, so I am just going to assume that you have had a quick read through that, as I will be referring to it throughout. So please, if you haven't already, give it a quick read, please. Underneath the scenario, please write an introduction. You can do this at the end because that'll probably be easier. So I would suggest talking about what a risk is, and page 6 of your ebook will help with this. Why is risk management important in a business? If you want to, you can Google that, but I'm sure it's also in your ebook. And what is the risk process, which is on page 7 of your risk ebook. Going down, in task 1, you're aligning the ASNZS principles and guidelines with what they could impact in the CA City department stores business. So you get these impacts from the minutes. So the minutes are the ones that are in this table here. So the senior management had a meeting and they outlined what issues there are at the CA City department store, and then you're aligning with these with the different principles. So basically, creates and protects value. That's a continuous improvement for the new product range. Be an integral part to the organisation processes. So the imported ranges are not integrated into frameworks, management or planning processes. So that's something that needs to be done. 3, be part of the decision making. Consider a change to the communication process to provide risk analysis to all key decision makers. 4, explicitly address uncertainty. So at the moment, overall concern that the risk analysis timeframe for review is too long. So they need to shorten that so that it'll be quarterly review process. 5, be systematic, structured and timely. So many decisions are being based on only 1 quarter of historical results. Recommended accessing at least 12 months of financial and sales results. 6, based on the best available information. So deputise senior management to create a committee. 7, be tailored. So we need to formalise the risk management framework so it actually applies to the department store, because at the moment it's just the whole CA City retail group. 8, take into account human and cultural factors. So we need to review the recruitment and diversity policies. 9, be transparent and inclusive. We need to carry out a new stakeholder analysis, as the other one is out of date. 10, be dynamic, iterative and responsive to change. So we need to form a change committee to manage the change process. And 11, facilitate continual improvement of organisations. So we need to investigate maybe contracting an expert to assist with this process going forward. So that's how that one all aligns. Question 2, you're required to define the scope of risk management. So if you do lesson 1 on Blackboard, if you were doing this on Blackboard, it will tell you that it's these main things that are part of the scope. So import market, staff levels of expertise, the website and social media, poor inventory management and the risk management process. So please, please, please put those into a sentence. You could have also found those up here. So after reviewing these minutes, these are the things that were decided to be most urgent. So that's just what you've put into question 2. So you can go into more detail in question 2 if you want to. Okay, question 3, we need to put in the stakeholders, say whether they're internal or external, what their power and influence is, or power and involvement is in the risk process, what issues they'd be interested in, and what type of issues they are. So for instance, economic, social, legal, policy or technological. So that you'll have 2 examples on your assignment, so Edward Chance and Shari Amiri, so they're 2 internal. But in total, you need to come up with at least 3 internal extra people. So here I've got Hans Koenig, who's the operations, John Sales, who's head of marketing, and Mary Webster, who's head of IT. You can add in other ones if you want to from reading the scenario. So all of these people are going to have high power and high involvement in the new risk process and updating it. You need to say what issues they'd be interested in. So Like Hans Koenig, he has a lot to do with the import lines, definitely, and the decision making with that. John Sayles would have a lot to do with the marketing, say, on social media and the website. And Mary Webster, because she is IT, she'd obviously be interested in upgrading the website and social media as well. And then, as you can see here, I've done an example. So Mary, that's technological, social, and probably legal to a point. You also need to have 3 external stakeholders. So I've written 4 here, just so you know, but you only need 3. Customers, suppliers, importers, and banks. So I'll let you do this column here about what they would be, what issues they'd be interested in, and what type of issues they are. Okay, so just as long as you have 3 internal and 3 external, please. Question 4, we needed to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the existing risk management process. So I've got some notes here. You can even put that into a table if you wanted to. So I'll just do up an example for you. You could do something like this, the strengths and weaknesses, and put it in that way, or you can write it in a sentence using these dot points, whichever way you want to go. So at the moment there's a formal framework as a whole for the retail group, but it's not specific to the department store. The system is generic and not tailored. Policies and procedures that do exist, I guess that's sort of a positive, but they need to be more specific. The current system is not strong and the business will not be able to plan adequately for risk management, and the roles and responsibilities within the risk management are not clearly outlined. So you can either put those into sentences or put them into the strengths and weaknesses table to outline those. Going on, question 5. So we're concentrating on our role as Esther Smithers here, the Managing Director. We need to identify the critical success factors of your risk management process and how they relate to the areas of scope which you identified in question 2. So really our specific critical success factors are to develop a specific risk management process for the department store and develop a plan for monitoring and evaluating the risk management process for the store. So they're the critical success factors, but then I'd also like you to link in how they relate to the areas of scope, because that's part of the question. So to do this, you can either write in sentences or you could input things into this table. So for instance, one of the areas of scope is staff expertise. So processes needed, maybe staff training procedures created where there's weaknesses at the moment, and how would you monitor that's happening? Maybe you would do quarterly performance reviews with the employees, and if they need training in a certain area, then you could give that to them. That's a way that you're developing and planning for monitoring, and you're putting in a process, because if staff have high expertise, then that's going to keep the risks down. So I hope that makes sense. You just need to give a couple of examples of what the process would be and how you'd monitor them for each of the areas of scope. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's all for task 1. Yes, it is. So I'll leave that there for this video.